UFC Fight Night Nicolau versus Perez is right around the corner, and I want to show you all some promising underdogs and favorites that I noticed for this event. I'll also provide you my final probability for those fighters' victories, as well as their stat differentials. Please do me a favor and like and subscribe if you find this informative, helpful, or even entertaining. I've also added my Patreon information in the description if you want to support me through that. I have a $5 and $10 a month option. It's definitely not required, but I would very much appreciate that. Running this data and editing takes hours every day and week, so I'd really appreciate any support that you guys can give, and thank you to everyone who has shown me support recently. Also, if you like detailed breakdowns and predictions, I do those videos weekly as well for full cards, including the prelims, so feel free to check those out on the channel, and let's go ahead and jump right in. First, let's take a look at promising underdogs. The fighters' names are on the leftmost column, followed by their probability of victories that I presented to you guys in the prediction video from earlier this week. These probabilities aren't only based on several data science prediction models that have been trained for accuracy, but also other qualitative information as well about each fighter, such as their momentum, their recent performances, their career's trajectory, psychological factors, their training camps, and their weight cuts. Then I also provide the stat advantages for fighters compared to their opponent. Now, I've excluded stat differentials where one of the fighters has a 0 for their stats. Otherwise, it can be a little bit misleading, and I don't want to mislead you guys. So first, let's take a look at promising underdogs. The first promising underdog that I want to highlight is Ariana Lipski. Ariana Lipski has a height advantage of an inch. She lands 0.9 more strikes per minute. She has a 5% higher striking accuracy and has a 2% higher striking defense. I gave Ariana Lipski a 40.7% probability of victory. And just a heads up, she's probably the riskiest one on this video, but I do think she's a decent, promising underdog to feature because she has some proven striking skills, which can give Silva some trouble if she's able to keep the fight standing. We know she has a Muay Thai background and some KO/TKO victories and a pretty decent reach. She also has shown better takedown defense recently, which I think might work in her favor in this fight. And if she can stuff those takedowns that Silva will attempt inevitably, she can potentially negate those grappling advantages that Silva has. Lipski also has a decent resume and a professional fighting career, even outside the UFC if you do some research. Moving right along to the next fighter, because I'm not going to waste your guys' time, the next promising underdog I wanted to feature is Austin Hubbard, who is actually a pick of mine for this event, and I think he's going to win this fight after reviewing his data and watching his fight film footage and doing some research on both of these guys. Austin Hubbard has a reach advantage of an inch. He lands 1.96 more strikes per minute. He has a 17% higher striking accuracy. He absorbs 0.63 less strikes per minute. He has a 12% higher striking defense, and he lands 0.55 more takedowns on average. Also, he has a 32% higher takedown accuracy and has a 7% higher takedown defense. Now, I gave Austin Hubbard a 54.1% probability of victory, and I think they're a good underdog to feature in this video because he has good experience, he's faced good competition, and even though he hasn't won some of those fights, it's still very valuable experience that will improve him and has improved him over time. He's faced guys like Marco Madsen and Davy Ramos, and recently Kurt Hollabah in that Ultimate Fighter final. He also has finishing power and can go the distance and control a fight, as he's finished 44% of his wins and the other 56% went to the judges, so he's a pretty balanced fighter. A lot of his finishes come within the first 2 rounds, and that is 5 out of 7 finishes, or 71% to be exact, in case some of you guys are hunting for those prop bets. I think he has the potential to get it done here, which is why he's an underdog that I picked. Moving to the next fighter, the next promising underdog I wanted to highlight in this video is Don'Tale Mayes. Don'Tale Mayes has a height advantage of 2 inches and has a reach advantage of 3 inches. I gave Don'Tale Mayes a 46.8% probability of victory, and I think they're a good underdog to feature on this video because there's a chance that he can close the distance and either clinch or use his reach to control the range, preventing Machado from being effective. Machado's Dana White Contender Series fight against Kevin just wasn't that impressive, if I'm being honest with you guys. And also, if I am being genuine with y'all, this fight isn't a very high-level fight, with all due respect to both fighters, but I still think that there's value here if you want to take some risk to raise your reward. Don'Tale Mayes could get it done here, but this will be a boring fight. I'm just going to give you guys that honest truth. It doesn't mean you can't make some money, though. The next promising underdog I wanted to highlight was James Lontop. James Lontop has a height advantage of 2 inches. He's 6 years younger. He has a 9% higher striking accuracy. He absorbs 5.02 less strikes per minute. He he has a 27% higher striking defense and has an 18% higher takedown defense. I gave James Longtop a 49.6% probability, so they're very close to being at that 50% or even slightly above, and I think he's a good underdog to feature in this video because he has a solid record of 14 wins and only 2 losses. He's finished 57% of his wins, and he's capable of getting a finish in round 1, 2, or 3. And the reason I say that is because 3 of his 8 finish victories came within the first round, the other 3 came within the second round, and then the other 2 came within the third round. So you could tell he's a balanced finisher. So he's not just a first round all or nothing type fighter. He's also fighting closer to his natural weight class in this fight. He also has a size advantage. He has a strength advantage. He's younger. He definitely has the ability to overwhelm green if he effectively executes a good game plan and utilizes his advantages. If James is still the underdog while I'm making this video, you should consider him as a promising underdog. And if he's flipped over to the favorite by now, take him into consideration as a valuable favorite. The next promising underdog I wanted to highlight is Gabriel Benitez. Gabriel Benitez lands 2.01 more strikes per minute. He has a 15% higher striking accuracy. He absorbs 0.61 less strikes per minute. He has a 13% higher striking defense, and he has a 10% higher takedown defense. I gave Gabriel Benitez a 48.8% probability of victory, and I think they're a good underdog to feature in this video because he's powerful. He's finished 83% of all of his wins, and 39% of his wins have been KO/TKOs, while 43% have been submissions. He has an aggressive, knockout-heavy style, which can overwhelm Mahashade. He has 12 first-round finishes and 5 second-round finishes. He'll need to utilize the correct weapons in his arsenal to get this victory, especially things like his BJJ skills and his unorthodox fighting style. He'll have to close the distance and clinch strategically if he wants to win this one, but he is a dangerous and well-rounded fighter, and this one can be a close one, so I wanted to feature him in this section of this video. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the promising favorites, which I've chosen through 3 main criteria. First, they have a high statistical weighted confidence either through my prediction models or through fighter stat evaluation or some combination of both. Second, their opponent doesn't have a high probability of victory, so you won't notice any overlap between the underdogs I just showed you earlier and these fighters. And third is that their odds aren't too expensive. If a fighter has -400 or -700 odds, they're obviously just too expensive to pick. But you could always parlay those kind of fighters if you'd like. That's why we like them. But in this video, in this section, I'm going to focus more on finding you guys some value rather than stating the obvious and pointing out some -500 type fighters. So I consider these 3 criteria. I do all of the work for you, and then I show you some valuable picks that fit that criteria. So if you want to know how I predict each fight is going to play out and the specific results, go ahead and check out that earlier video from this week, my prediction breakdown. And in that video, I review their stats, I review their fight history, and I review the results of my 7 data science prediction models, my final picks, and the method of victory. I'll quickly review the stat advantages of each of these fighters, and if you want more detail, please go ahead and check out that video from earlier this week. The first inexpensive and confident favorite that I want to highlight is Matheus Nicolau. Matheus Nicolau, he's a year younger, he has a reach advantage of 1 inch, and he has a 7% higher striking accuracy. Also, he has a 8% higher striking defense, he has a 1% higher takedown accuracy, and he has an 11% higher takedown defense. I gave Matheus Nicolau a 60.2% probability of victory after considering all things. The next inexpensive and confident favorite that I wanted to highlight is Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann has a height advantage of 2 inches, he has a reach advantage of 3 inches, he lands 0.99 more strikes per minute, he has a 7% higher striking accuracy, he absorbs 1.9 less strikes per minute, and he has a 5% higher striking defense. All things considered, I gave Ryan Spann a 66% probability of victory. We're breezing through these guys. The next inexpensive and confident favorite that I wanted to highlight is Jonathan Diniz. Jonathan Diniz is 4 years younger, and he lands 3.21 more strikes per minute. All things considered, I gave Jonathan Diniz a 66.9% probability of victory. The next inexpensive and confident favorite that I wanted to highlight in this video is Jonathan Pearce. Jonathan Pearce has a height advantage of 1 inch. He lands 0.22 more strikes per minute. He has a 10% higher striking accuracy. He absorbs 2.13 less strikes per minute. he has a 4% higher striking defense, he lands 4.42 more takedowns on average, and he has a 35% higher takedown accuracy. Also, he has an 11% higher takedown defense and lands 0.5 more submissions on average. I gave Jonathan Pierce a 63.9% probability of victory in this fight. The next inexpensive and confident favorite that I wanted to highlight for you guys is Uros Medic. Uros Medic is 9 years younger. He lands 0.54 more strikes per minute. He has 11% higher striking accuracy. He absorbs 0.47 less strikes per minute, and he has a 58% higher takedown accuracy. I gave Uros Medic a 63.1% probability of victory. The next inexpensive and confident favorite I wanted to highlight is Caitlin Souza. Caitlin Souza has a height advantage of 3 inches, and she's 2 years younger. She absorbs 3.22 less strikes per minute and has a 39% higher striking defense. I gave her a confident 71.4% probability of victory with all things considered. You guys know I like to give you guys as much information as I can in as little time. I don't like wasting your guys' time. I'm happy to make these videos for you guys. This pretty much wraps up the video. I really appreciate everyone for watching and being supportive. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and check out that Patreon if you want to support me through there. I do all of this data analysis for you guys. All I ask for is that Patreon and this YouTube support. The Patreon's $5 or $10 a month. Go ahead and check it out if you can and if you want to. Your support really means the world to me. It keeps me encouraged and motivated to continue running all of this data for you guys day and night and providing you guys all of these insights. So thank you guys so much once again, and see you guys in the next one.